بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين أبي القاسم محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أنزلناه في ليلة مباركة إنا كنا منذرين. وقال أيضا إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر. صلوات بيجي محمد وعلى محمد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tonight being the night of 23rd, known as Laylatul Qadr, one of the three mentioned by the Ma'asumeen as being the night of Qadr. And when it comes to 23rd, night of 23rd, they emphasize a little bit more than the night of 19th and the 21st. We see that the two verses that I recited, one from Surah Dukhan and one from Surah Qadr. In the verse that I recited from Surah Dukhan, verse number 3, it says that إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ فِي لَيْلَةٍ مُبَارَكَةٍ. Then we have revealed the Quran on a blessed night to warn mankind. إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ فِي لَيْلَةِ الْقَدْرِ. Indeed, we have descended or revealed this Quran on the night of Qadr. So, obviously, both of these ayat that I recited are referring towards the night of Qadr, which is Shab Qadr or Laylatul Qadr. And this is where the sigha of the verb that has been used is anzalna. That means we reveal the entire Quran on this night. There are different types of revelations of Quran, tanzeel, and there's a verb which is used in the format of tanzeel, and there's a verb which is used in the format of inzal. Whenever it uses anzala yunzilu inzal, that means it's the instantaneous and the complete descent of Quran. Whenever the word tanzeel is used, it is referring towards the gradual revelation of Quran. So we hear in other areas or we read in other parts of Quran, inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra. Nazzalna, when he says nazzalna, it is referring towards the gradual revelation of Quran. When it says anzalna, it is referring towards the instantaneous, complete revelation of Quran. So these are the two types of verbs that are used. Nazzala wa tanzeel is for the gradual revelation for the period of 23 years. But we believe that tonight is the night among those Laylatul Qadr that the whole Quran, entire Quran was revealed onto the heart of the Prophet. That is why tanazzalul malaikatu war ruh, the malaika and ruh come down on this. And it's not just tanazzala is in the past, and I will talk about that. Tanazzala was tatanazzala. The ta is removed from it. It is in the present tense. That means even today, and it is proven through the ahadith of Ma'asumeen that even today the angels come down. The difference is when they came down in the time of Rasulullah, they would bring down the Quran. They brought down the Quran. But when they come now after the period of Rasulullah, when the wahi has been disconnected, they come down on Imam Ma'asum, and also they bring down, instead of Quran, they bring down the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why there's so much emphasis laid down to do not misuse this ayah, do not be heedless on this night, and use this night in the proper way as to the rewards that are attached with it. Even we recite this ayah so much, had we ever think about what it is saying? It says, Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. Wa ma adraka ma laylatul qadr. To the Prophet, who's the recipient of this ayah. All the ayat are received by the Prophet. It says, Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. O Prophet, we revealed this Quran on the night of Qadr. Do you know what the night of Qadr is? It's a question to Rasulullah. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ. It's not a question that do you know? It's a question in a way that you do not know. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ. And what would you know about Laylatul Qadr? Laylatul Qadr خَيْرٌ مِّنْ أَلْفِ شَهْرٍ. Laylatul Qadr is greater than 1,000 months. Alf shahr, not 1,000 nights, not 1,000 weeks, not 1,000 days. Rather, it is better than 1,000 months. So Quran As far as the revelation is concerned, the first revelation was the first 5 verses from Surah Alaq. Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. And the last revelation that came on Prophet was, some believe that it was Surah An-Nasr that came down on Prophet. The words that are used over here, Qadr, in this Surah Qadr, Amr and Hakim, means that Allah decides on the future of mankind on this night, about the sustenance, the health, the wealth, and the comfort. And this is something which is given to the Imam Ma'asum. Allah doesn't send azab without any reason, but He sends thawab and mercies without any reason. He doesn't need a reason to send down His blessings and mercies. Tonight is one of those nights that He doesn't need a reason, although it is night of the Qadr. But any night of Ramadan is the same in the sense that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down His mercy. The first 10 days there's something attached with it, the second 10 days and the third 10 days. And therefore Allah does not require any reason to send down His mercies. Let's delve into as to what this 1,000 nights, 1,000 months mean. Shab-e Qadr or Laylatul Qadr is better than 1,000 months. When you divide 1,000 months by 12, because there are 12 months in a year, calendar year, you get the figure of 83. That means 1,000 months is 83 years long. What is so important about this 83 years? Well, first thing is 83 years is a long, long life. You know, I don't know how many in a community are 83 years old. Especially in the Indian Pakistani community, we don't really last that long, 70, 75 is max for us pretty much. But yeah, in the American society, in the Americans, you see them, very lively. They're walking around even in their 90s and whatnot. But we see that 83 is a pretty long life to live. And, a person to be able to live such a long life obviously has seen a great deal of things. And therefore, not many people live to be that long. So therefore you understand that tonight is equal to 83 years. This night. Tonight is equal to 83 years. I don't know how many of us will be able to live to 83 years. But not banking on that, just imagine this night is greater and better than 83 years. So whatever you do tonight is going to be multiplied into 83 years, and that is the sawab and the reward attached with this action. Salawat Biji Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So you multiply everything, the prayers that you perform, the sadaqah that you give. I always emphasize that night of Qadr, you begin your amal by giving sadaqah. The best of the actions is give sadaqah. You're fasting, and even when you're providing food for someone, for instance, providing food tonight to a person who's fasting is also a great sawab. Why? You multiply that by 83 years, and that's how much you have basically done. So we see tafsir of 1,000 months. There are 2 narrations under the following verse from Surah Bani Israel, verse number 60, which says, وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لَكَ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ أَحَاطَ بِالنَّاسِ وَمَا جَعَلْنَا الرُّؤْيَا الَّتِي أَرَيْنَاكَ إِلَّا فِتْنَةً لِلنَّاسِ وَالشَّجَرَةَ الْمَلْعُونَ فِي الْقُرْآنِ وَنُخَوِّفُهُمْ فَمَا يَزِيدُهُمْ إِلَّا طُغْيَانًا كَبِيرًا. It says in Surah Bani Israel, verse number 16, O Muhammad, we told you that your Lord has encompassed all mankind. We have made the vision which we showed you and the condemned tree mentioned in the Quran as a trial for the human being. Even though we warned them, it only increases their rebellion. Now there are a few things that are discussed in that ayah. This is talking about a dream the Prophet sees. Ru'ya allati araynaka, the dream that we showed you. And then it talks about fitnatan linnas, the corruption of the people. Then it talks about shajaratul mal'una, a condemned or damned tree which is being referred to over here in Quran. وَنُخَوِّفُهُمْ فَمَا يَزِدُ إِلَّا طُغْيَانًا. Although we warned them, we warned them, but it only increased in their rebellion. It only increased in them doing more corruption. Instead of taking heed about it, they went the same direction and they continued and increased even more of their injustice. Mufassirin mentioned that Prophet saw in his dream that monkeys are climbing up and down his mimbar. This was the dream. That monkeys, qiradatan khasiin, as the ayat of Quran also mentions, were climbing up on the mimbar, up and down, and which made him very sad. He looked at it in his dream and it made him very sad. And he would rarely smile after that. And definition of the condemned tree, mal'una or khabitha, which has appeared, is the tree of Banu Umayyah. That for 83 years after Prophet, Banu Umayyah sat on the pulpit or sat on the reins of Islam, and that what 1,000 nights or the 1,000 months is actually referring to. So you should go ahead and count the years that Banu Umayyah ruled over Islam, starting from the first Muawiyah until the last of their leaders, Marwan-e-Himar, which was the 19th and the last Khalifa of Banu Umayyah, 83 years. How? Once after another they ruled in the Islamic state for 83. Masudi in his book Muruj al-Zahab calculates. He said Banu Umayyah ruled for 90 years, 11 months and 13 days. Imam Hussein, or rather Imam Hassan, was in power for 5 months and 10 days. And then Abdullah ibn Zubair for 7 years, 10 months and 3 days. He said if you subtract the 7 years and the 5 months of Imam Hassan, you get the figure of 83 years. Exactly 83 years of the rulership by Banu Umayyah. So total of 83. And many people were with us last year performing the ibadat. They're not here anymore, so we should understand the importance of this night as to how important this night of Qadr is. And you should not let this night pass by without having said to, asking for forgiveness from those people whom you need this forgiveness, or forgiving those people who might be feeling in this way from you, to go ahead and forgive those individuals who might be seeking your forgiveness. Do not be uptight in this night. Let go of the grudges that you have, so that when you enter in this night, when you perform the worships of the night, there's nothing upon your shoulders, nor is there any right on any other individual from you. The whole night, as it talks about, that in this night is when the rizq and the sustenance is also determined for the individuals. Imam said, pray as if you're praying your last prayer, so that there's no more prayers afterwards. Imagine if you were told that you're going to die before Maghrib, you only have a few minutes left or few hours left, you have to pray your Zuhr and Asr. Imagine how would you perform that Zuhr prayers? How would you perform that Asr prayer? You've never performed it in that fashion before. Why? Because you know it is the last of your prayers. You will no longer be given the chance to pray ever again. He said, pray as if it is your last prayer, and pray in that fashion this night of Qadr as well. It says, importance of Surah Qadr, it says, نَادِ مُنَادٍ يَا عَبْدِ اللَّهِ قَدْ غَفَرَ لَكَ مَا مَضَى فَاسْتَأْنِ فِي الْعَمَلِ. The munadi will call upon on the servant of Allah and say, قَدْ غَفَرَ لَكَ. Allah has forgiven مَا مَضَى, whatever has passed, فَاسْتَأْنِ فِي الْعَمَلِ. Now begin a fresh new action from yourself. It says, مَنْ قَرَأَ إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَا بِجَهْرٍ كَانَ كَشَاهِرِ سَيْفِهِ. And this is the importance of إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَا, that we recite it so much. People ask, do Moulanas not know other surahs? Well, that could be the case that they don't know other surahs, but they emphasize on reciting Surah Qadr so much. In fact, when Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib ﷺ was sent by Prophet to a place to lead prayers, he performed the namaz, led the prayers. When he came back, Prophet asked people that how did you find Ali's leading the prayers and all that stuff. He said it was good, obviously, it was very spiritual. But he always recited Qul Huwallah, even in the first rakat and in the second rakat. Does that mean Amir al-Mu'mineen does not know other surahs? He knows all of Quran. It's not a matter of not knowing other surahs. But he recited Qul Huwallah all the time, especially in the month of Ramadan when he had come back. And they asked, why didn't you recite other surahs? He said, because of the merits that have appeared of Qul Huwallahu Ahad. And secondly, because it's one of the shortest surahs of Quran, he did not want it to be, struggle and, too much trouble for the people who were fasting in the month of Ramadan. So he recites a shorter surah so people could break their fast as soon as possible. And the same thing appears for Surah, Inna Anzalna as well. It says, the one who recites Inna Anzalna bijahrin kana kashahir sayfihi fi sabilillah. It's like a person who's fighting in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with his open sword. وَمَنْ قَرَعَ سِرًّا كَانَ كَالْمُتَشَحِّدْ بِدَمِهِ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. The one who recites it softly. In other words, when you recite it in your Maghrib and Isha prayers or Fajr prayers, you recite it out loud. When you recite it in your Zuhr and Asr prayers, you recite it softly. Whoever recites it softly, كَانَ كَالْمُتَشَحِّدْ بِدَمِهِ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. It's like the one who has sacrificed his blood in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَنْ قَرَعَ عَشْرَ مَرَّاتٍ مَرَّتْ عَلَى النَّحْفِ أَلْفَ ذَنْبٍ مِنْ ذُنُوبِهِ. He said the one who recites it 10 times, about 1,000 of his zunub are, washed away or overlooked from his actions. Don't take these ahadith for granted, brother and sister. Look at it with all the conditions that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows His mercy, it's through His grace and honor and not according to how much you and I deserve. You say, I don't deserve that much, but Allah wants to still give it to you because these are the nights of mercy and the blessings. When is Shab-e Qadr? There's a conflict between the brothers of Ahl Sunnah that they believe it's the night of 27th. But we for sure know that Imam had mentioned 3 nights, 19, 21st and 23rd. And he said, find Shab-e Qadr in these 3 nights. And then he laid an emphasis on the night of 23rd. We talked about the revelation of Quran as well to counter some of these claims that are made that, that the wahi has been disconnected. Wahi was disconnected when Prophet left this world. Who are these malaika now coming down to? So there's a riwayat in this regard as well. When our Imam was asked in this regard, our 5th Imam rather, when he was asked in this regard, that do you know Laylatul Qadr? Imam replied by saying, how should we not know Laylatul Qadr when angels circle around us all night long? Imam is saying, in other words, that angels come down. تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالْرُوحُ. The angels come down. It's a sigha mudari. It means it's a present tense. That means they're still coming down. It's not that they have stopped coming. When they come down, Imam was asked, do you know when this Laylatul Qadr is? Well, how do we not know? These angels are circling around us. When they circle around us, we know that it is the night of Qadr. So Imam knows, but still he keeps it a secret to us so that we go ahead and perform the ibadat on all 3 of the nights. The same way, you and I do not know when the death will take upon us. So you're ready at all the times. These 3 nights are given to you so that you are also ready in this regard. Salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. A few minutes that I have, I want to mention how much Quran do we know. The Prophet said when he was leaving that I leave behind 2 weighty things. One is Quran, the other is Ahlul Bayt. We claim that we know Ahlul Bayt, even that is not true, but how much Quran do we know? We look at the haqaiq and the realities of Quran that Prophet taught us. Some of the mu'jizat and the miracles in it. The word yawm has appeared in Quran 365 times. The amount of days that you have in a calendar year. You have 365 days in a year. 365 times the word yawm has appeared in Quran. Now the root word for yawm has appeared 475 times, but we're looking only at the word ye, waw and mim. Ye, waw and mim has appeared in Quran 365 times. That equals the amount of days that we have in a calendar year. Second, how many months do we have? 12 months. Guess how many times the word shahr has appeared in Quran? 12 times. 12 times the word shahr has appeared. Shahr means month in Arabic. It talks about Laylatul Qadr khairun min alfi shahrin. Shahr means month. So the word shahr has appeared 12 times. The root word for the word shahr, because there could be plural there, it could be other things like for example ashhur or other words from it, that has appeared 21 times in Quran. But we're focusing on the word shahr. Shahr means month. That has appeared in Quran 12 times, the amount of the months that we have in our calendar year. The word dunya and akhirah in Quran has appeared the equal amount of numbers, equal amount of time. Dunya has appeared in the Quran 115 times. The same amount has for Akhirat has also appeared in Quran for 115 times. These are some of the miracles that is being told to us by a prophet whom people refer to as ummi, illiterate. Today we need computers to figure out these figures. When I was going through this list, I went into my computer and I looked it up, and yes, I found that to be true. But Prophet in those days is telling these things without the help of any computer, while people are still calling him to be ummi, as illiterate. Prophet was able to give us all of these examples from Quran. Quran covers everything, as it says that we have not left anything. Ma wala ratbin wala yabisin illa fi kitabin mubin. Ma farratna fil kitab min shay. We have not left anything out of Quran. It is only up to our understanding as to how much we've been able to figure out this Quran. We see that it talks about which type of spouse should you choose? It said, وَلَا أَمَةٌ مُؤْمِنَةٌ خَيْرٌ مِّن مُشْرِكَةٍ, Baqarah 221. That, a mu'min spouse is better than choosing a mushrik spouse. So when it comes to intikhab hamsar, which type of spouse should you choose? Quran tells us. What should you eat and what should you not eat? Quran mentions that as well. It says in 4 times in Quran, do not consume, lahm khinzir. There are some worms in it that are not useful or helpful for you, so stay away from it. And like that, there's so many other things that I have over here in my list, but I don't have time to go through. Last hadith from Prophet to wrap it up. Prophet said, نور بيوتكم بتلاوة القرآن ولا تتخذوها قبورا كما فعلت اليهود والنصارى. He said, utilize this Quran. Prophet said, نور بيوتكم, illuminate your houses with the tilawat of Quran. Not just with Quran sitting in your houses, with the tilawat of Quran. Everybody has Quran in their houses. Even non-Muslims have Quran in their houses. He said your house will only be illuminated with the tilawat of Quran. He said, نَوِّرْ بُيُوتَكُمْ بِتِلَاوَةِ الْقُرْآنِ. And do not take this book to be the way Jews and the Christians took their books respectively. And this is the hadith from Rasulullah. Let us ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the tawfiq that we're able to follow these commands of Rasulullah, especially on this night of Qadr, as I was mentioning. The night, start your day out, start your night out. Obviously, inshallah, most of you have done the ghusl, but start your night out by giving sadaqah first thing. Sadaqah is the best of the ibadat for the night. And then obviously all the amal that we will be performing, make sure that you don't have grudge on anyone tonight. Forgive anyone that you have or those people who are seeking the forgiveness, also let that go as well. وإن أحسن الحديث وأبلغ الموعظة أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.